We shall fight from the hills. During nights like these, one can make oneself believe that the sun will never again rise across the Western Hemisphere. For hour upon hour there is not a single glimmer of light. I wave my hand an inch in front of my nose, and yet I cannot see movement. It's beginning to make me mad. When one is in such a nightmarish situation, in which the only relief is sleep, sleep itself becomes just as elusive as hope. It's not just the darkness, it's the cold, the bitter chill. No, chill doesn't begin to cover it. Freeze is a more apt description. Even indoors, even in a sleeping bag, the heat of my body isn't enough to warm me up. But it's not just the darkness and the unrelenting cold, it's the noise. The wind howls like a banshee, as if all the pains of the world, every tragic death of every innocent child since the dawn of creation is finally being grieved for. And it is my punishment to bear, to listen to Mother Nature's torment for day after weary day. The only consolation is the snoring of my companions, which serves as a welcome reminder that I am not here alone. At any moment I could call to them and wake them up. Sober reality could be re-established for a time. But no, I mustn't disturb them over my childish imaginings. Instead, I'll distract myself as I did when I was young, and think of happier times before the war, and before I found myself atop this wretched mountain. Edgbaston Cricket Ground, the height of glorious summer several years before all hell broke loose again. The final day of the third test against Australia. I'm in at number 4, with only an hour or so left of the match. We need 112 to win, and I'm in with a once formidable opener in the midst of a rough patch. He's been in over 2 hours with only 30 runs or so to his name. Although there are several strong batsmen after me, I know I'm my team's best hope. I'll play myself in, then try to stay on strike as much as possible, and let the other fellow hold up his end. Try to build a partnership. I get off to a rough start as I nearly allow my nerves to get the better of me. The first delivery ricochets off my bat in an unexpected direction. My heart is in my mouth. The second is a more comfortable forward defence. It's a good 10 minutes before I'm off the mark, and another 10 before my first boundary. After half an hour of strong bowling, my eye is in the game. Still a long way to go, though. A duff ball from the fast bowler is gleefully put away for 6. Another is not as well struck and flies straight up in the air. I'm in luck. The fielder drops it. No more stupid mistakes, I tell myself. An over of boundaries nice to pass my batting partner's score. Another 6, even bigger than the last one. Then disaster. A wicket. The partnership crumbles just before it reaches 50. Number 5 comes in and we take a while to warm up. We only need 35 runs to win. Progress is slow and time is running out. A few 4s keep the total ticking away. 2 overs left and we only need 12 runs. That's 6 per over. My partner is facing. He knocks the first ball away for 4, but then blocks the next few. Feeling the pressure, he takes a big swing. He misses, and the ball hits the middle stump. With 6 deliveries left, it's all down to me. 8 to win. 1 block. 1 hit straight to a fielder. Another well stopped by the keeper. Finally, I find a gap for 2 runs. It's the penultimate delivery of the match. I decide to go for broke and take a stride down the track and smash the ball straight ahead, high into the air and over the boundary for 6. The fear, pride, relief, and excitement make my heart rate increase to this day. I somehow feel safer. But will I ever get to play again? Can't imagine Mr. Hitler is a fan of cricket. Of course, we're less likely to be overrun by the Germans now than we were 4 years ago. But if there's one thing cricket taught me, is that a stalemate can change in an instant, and without warning. Cricket, like war, is a game of attrition. Tactics, yes. Moments of bravery and inspiration, of course. But the vast majority of one's time is spent blocking, defending, and attacking to no avail. The bowler must pitch the ball in the same exact spot again and again and again. He must wait for the opponent to offer an advantage. I remember the last war. The endless assaults. Maiden over after maiden over. And never taking a wicket. People think a 5-day test match is a long time to sit through. But those people have never sat in a muddy trench for a season-long battle, enduring snow, rain, bullets, rats, flames, shells and gas. To spend but 10 minutes in a trench would make any man plead to spend an entire summer fielding at fine leg instead. I remember the horror when, during my school days, a boy was struck on the head by a stray cricket ball. His blood stained the grass, and the vision of the injury haunted my dreams for weeks. How foolish I was. Visions I saw during the war still haunt my dreams decades later. I expect they always will. However much I try to bury them, they always seem to return. First it was the bodies. But one becomes used to seeing the trampled corpses of fallen compatriots horrifyingly quickly. One becomes used to the noise, the explosions, the machine guns. But one can never become desensitized to the unexpected, the one-offs. Rounding a corner and coming face to face with an enemy soldier, and seeing his expression turn from terror to blank oblivion in a mere second. The vision of wild, starving dogs, eating the only food they can find. A close friend disappearing in a flash of fire and smoke only yards ahead. And worst of all, the despair in the face and voice of grieving mother and widow. Although my French is not up to scratch, the mere phonetic syllables are printed, branded onto my memory, as is the unrelenting notion that our bullets may have been responsible for her loss. When the war was over, the question of which team would win the cricket became irrelevant. Only the refuge of the pitch was important, to distract us for a while. But when this war is over, may God let it be over soon, I know that a whole new generation of young men will take comfort in Cow Corner, where only the odd cricket ball need bother them.
You awake? Morning.
What time is it?
8:30.
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry, I'll be there now. I had a bad dream. The storm was still going weeks from now, and the 4 of us were trapped up here with no communications and no way of getting down. It was night time when a troop of Nazi soldiers found us. They shot the other 3 and were searching for me. That's when I woke up. The sun rose after all. Doesn't stop it being bitterly cold, though. Still, a nice mug of tea will help no end, and work distracts us the rest of the day. Tomorrow is supply day. I and one of the others will go down the mountain to the town for food. Then we'll have to carry it all back up again. When we arrived, it was spring, and the railway was still operating. They continued to bring us food and equipment until the beginning of winter. First day we arrived, we missed the train, so we had to hike up with all our gear. The views were stunning, though, truly. On a clear day, you can see out across all Snowdonia from up here. Now you can barely see more than a few hundred yards. No wonder I'm paranoid.
Tea's ready.
All right.
We'd best get on. Lots to do and all that.
How do you gentlemen sleep at night?
I beg your pardon?
With all this infernal wind and the snow, how do you sleep?
Like a log after a hard day's work, old chap. Yes.
Once, when I was a boy, my father took me and my brother down into a cave system in Derbyshire. When we were deep underground, he extinguished our lamps and we sat there in silence, listening to the steady drip, drip, dripping of the water, which was presumably trying to form a stalagmite. Anyway, after a while he said, "Boys, how long do you expect it will take for your eyes to adjust to the gloom?" I thought about it for a moment, and then I said, "They won't. They'll never adjust." And I was right, of course. My brother panicked. We had to relight the lamps again. That's always stuck with me.
What's your point?
Last night, not a glimmer of light to be found. No stars, no candles, no electricity, nothing. There's not even light pollution anymore. It's terrifying.
You think that's terrifying? Be grateful you're not on the front line.
I am grateful. Every single day since 1918, I've thanked God I'm not there anymore.
My father was there. He lost his brother at Verdun. He never talks about it. He was at Passchendaele, my father. Yes.
And how does he feel about his son being on top of a mountain hundreds of miles from the action?
He tries to understand. Of course, I can't tell him what we're doing up here. He just knows that I'm doing important research.
My father tried to sign up in 39. They wouldn't let him. He's too old. He was upset because he was too young to fight in the First War. He feels he missed out, so he tried to make me sign up instead.
So what does he think of you being up here?
He thinks I'm a coward. He doesn't say it to my face, but I know he's thinking it.
You know, when I was in France, I used to thoroughly resent men like you, with your cushy, comfortable jobs, miles and miles from the lines. I used to think, how can they know how to make weapons, or keep us safe when they've never even seen a German in their lives? But I was wrong. Call me selfish, but if I were your father, I'd want you as far away from the front line as possible. No young man should ever see what I've seen, or hear what I've heard. You're lucky, my boys, that you're all able to contribute to the war effort, whilst being safe at home in Blighty. Perhaps one day men will fight wars exclusively from remote mountaintops, and no one need ever be killed. Maybe the wars of the future will be fought on the football field, or the cricket pitch, and Mr. Churchill's speeches may be delivered to the players at half-time.
Do you really believe that?
Not for a moment. But without hope, our eyes will never adjust to the light. Now, let's get on with our work.